How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is PSReady, my channel all about PlayStation. I hope you're having a great week playing a ton of video games because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm still playing Dying Light the Beast and having an absolute blast. I'm just so relieved that it lived up to my expectations. It feels great when that happens because lately it doesn't feel like it's been happening all that much. In today's video, I've got 3 news topics to cover, starting out with yet another PS5 hardware revision that Sony is trying to keep quiet. After that, Sony announced a new rewards program that people are not happy about, but if you take it on its face, I honestly think it's kind of cool. And finally, Forza Horizon 6 is real and it is coming to PS5, so I'm just gonna go off about that game because I am so excited. Before I jump into the video, it would really help me out if you subscribe to the channel, set your notifications to all, and if you have the ability on your phone, hype the video. It's a new button underneath the video. It actually helps, so if you're enjoying the content, that's the best way you can help me. Let's jump into the first news story here and talk about PS5 hardware revisions, because there's like this whole map now of different PS5s on the corkboard, all connected by red string and thumbtacks. There's like a guy smoking a cigarette. He's got his burnt coffee just sitting there. It's cold, it's stale, and he's trying to figure out what exactly is the reasoning behind all of the hardware revisions to the PS5. Now, I will point out that in past generations, like there have been just as many revisions of PS3s, PS4s out there. This generation is where it really became a news story because for some reason, people really care about when Sony changes some things in the PS5. And every time it really just turns out to be, they reduce the overall size of the motherboard to make the console weigh less so they can fit more of them in one shipment on a big ship from wherever these things come from, pay less money to ship more PS5s and make more money when you actually buy a PS5. Like, everyone loves to conspiracize about this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's all about increasing the profit margin without losing performance. But the PS5 Pro is next in line to get a hardware revision, and that's kind of interesting to me because it's less than a year old at this point. I think like it came out in November last year around the 30th anniversary celebration of the PlayStation 5. I just don't know what they could possibly reduce because in terms of like hardware, we're like excluding the price from this conversation completely right now. This is pretty much the best hardware Sony's ever made. Like when developers actually take advantage of the PS5 Pro, it shows that having that extra horsepower under the hood actually matters in terms of getting better resolutions and better frame rates. Now, PSSR and poor implementation of it, Unreal Engine 5, developers not finishing their games, all of those things kind of reduce the overall want and need for a PS5 Pro because, if most of the big games people are playing don't take advantage of it, that causes problems. But in terms of raw hardware power, Sony has done a good job, and it's not that big. Like with the PS4 to PS4 Pro, it was a much bigger console. Like even with the extra stack, they increased the overall footprint of the PS4 Pro. PS5 Pro is a very slim machine. So maybe they're reducing the overall size of the motherboard in this thing, but it has been confirmed that they are not reducing the storage. That 2 terabytes of storage you get with the PS5 Pro, whenever this hardware revision comes out starting in Europe, you're going to still get 2 terabytes of storage on the device. I think this one's going to be harder to get than the PS5 Slim that they revised, mainly because the PS5 Pro I don't think is selling very well. Even at its original price of $700, people weren't really seeing the need to upgrade because the PS5 itself is just such a good console that hadn't really been taken advantage of yet in the same way that the PS4 had at the same point of its timeline. And like people are being more careful with their money these days. They're not just like making impulse buy purchases on a $700 machine. Then you need to get a disk drive on top of that if you have disc-based games, which brings the price to around $800. Then on top of that, they raise the price to $750, which brings it over $800 with the disk drive. So the price is the biggest problem when it comes to the PS5 Pro. So I don't think it's selling that well. And I think Sony knows that, which is why they wouldn't go as far as to reduce the overall storage, because working in half measures, like, or 3/4 measures, like they have been, where instead of 1 terabyte or 500 gigs, they're doing like 825 gigs. That's got to be a weird thing to try and figure out with the overall SSD chip size. Like, I don't know how SSDs are made, but I feel like, working in intervals of 500, like 500 gigs, 1 terabyte, 1.5 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and going up from there would just make more sense and be a lot easier. Seeing 825 is just such a weird, bizarre number. So like, I don't think they're going to reduce it to like 1.8 terabytes of onboard storage. And that's been confirmed by the shipping manifest that Bilbo Kuhn was able to get. So if you're worried about, not getting the PS5 Pro now, only to get it later and get less storage charge for more money. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But as far as what this revision is going to be, I just can't see it being anything other than reducing the size of the motherboard and maybe, you know, putting less copper cooling in it, because the PS5 Slim that just got revised has ridges around the APU to keep the liquid metal in place. That's taken directly from the PS5 Pro launch version that we got last year. So like, you don't even have to worry about improving the liquid metal cooling scenario on the PS5 Pro. So like, I literally can't imagine what it would be outside of just making it lighter and maybe a little slimmer. Hopefully they can figure out how to do a price revision soon on both the PS5 and the PS5 Pro so that they can make it feel like it's worth buying, especially knowing that they want to get the PS6 out in 2028. Like, it just feels weird to keep increasing the price. Like, you're actively pushing people away when theoretically you'd want more people than ever buying PS5s and PS5 Pros because you're finally moving on from the PS4. It's just a weird situation all around that hopefully will get better as time goes on. But let's move on to the second news story, because this whole scenario is really confusing. So Sony, while I was in Europe, announced a new rewards program called Franchise Rewards. And if you're a Destiny player, like you've been playing Destiny 2 up until the final shape, this is going to sound very familiar to you, because basically they're rewards that you get the ability to buy for doing things within a game. And it's starting out with Ghost of Tsushima. So like, if you platinum Ghost of Tsushima, it gives you a special code that you can use on the Franchise Rewards website to buy a special t-shirt and a set of collectible coins. Now that's exactly what happens in Destiny. Like, they do a ring every year for completing a certain amount of raids. If you played the seasonal updates, like with the battle pass and everything, if you completed all of the challenges within the game, they always had one special merch item that was pretty cool, that was themed like the season, that you could purchase on the website. But the point is, you had to do stuff within Destiny 2 to be able to buy that stuff. And when I was playing Destiny very heavily, like sinking hundreds of hours into that game all the time, like month to month, it was actually pretty sweet to be able to buy specific merch items to represent things I had done in the game, because as you worked your way through the end game of Destiny, things got a lot harder. You needed multiplayer. They took a lot of coordination and, you know, like looking up YouTube videos and maps online. So like, being able to buy a cool hoodie from Season of the Splicer or whatever was honestly pretty cool. I had no issues with it. So I was kind of shocked to see that people are not taking this news well. They're very upset about it. I went to Push Square. They love doing polls. The vast majority of their readership does not agree with this decision by Sony. And when you look into it, it all kind of makes sense. So going back to PlayStation Stars, which is the disaster of a rewards program that Sony introduced, like, they made it too good, right? You could get $5 rewards, you could get $10 rewards. I'm pretty sure at some point you could get $20 rewards, and it was all points that you got for buying digital PlayStation games. And as we've been talking about over the past few months, people are buying more digital games than ever, so they were racking up points on their PlayStation 5 and getting reward credit back that they could then spend on the PlayStation Store. It's how I got skins in games like Diablo or other free-to-play or, you know, paid-to-play games that have overpriced skins like Diablo 4 without feeling bad about myself, because it's money I already spent that I'm not getting back as cash. It's PlayStation Store credit. It felt okay buying the cool-ass skins that they put in the Diablo 4 store way back when PlayStation Stars was at its peak. Then we had all the disasters with it going away, coming back, the rewards going away, coming back, but with just $5. And then Sony just threw in the towel and said, this program is ending. It's too good. It's giving people too many rewards. Too many people are getting free PlayStation Store credit. They're not engaging with the Jim Ryan bobbleheads we're putting in the shop. And people are seeing the word franchise rewards and they're seeing it as a replacement for PlayStation Stars, when it's very obvious that that's not what it's meant to be. It's just a cool new system that Sony came up with because they've been talking to Bungie, who they own, and Bungie probably shared some data with them and said, look, when people spend hours and hours in our games and have a deep attachment to them, they like to buy this custom merch that they get for achieving things within the game. And, you know, even picking Ghost of Tsushima as the first game, that was a sleeper hit. No one was excited for it before it came out. Then it came out. Jin Sakai was a great character. The story was excellent. So people have a fondness and an attachment for Ghost of Tsushima. And it's not as easy as an Insomniac game to get a platinum in Ghost of Tsushima, but it's not also the hardest game in the world to get the platinum in. So it feels like a really smart measured choice for the first game to actually have these franchise rewards. And I would guess we'll see them for Spider-Man and other games that have high platinum trophy achievement rates, like Astrobot as well, if this is successful. People are also complaining about the pricing, which I think is fair. Like $25 for a shirt with $14 shipping is kind of crazy. I feel like just cover the shipping, especially since you have to do stuff in a game to be able to buy this shirt. They have to rethink that, I think, like make the pricing more fair, because it does take actual hours of your life to be able to buy this stuff. But just looking at it from 10,000 feet up, I don't really see the connection, if I'm being real, between PlayStation Stars and this. I don't think this is meant to replace PlayStation Stars. I think if Stars was still around, this would be a thing in addition to that you would need just a PlayStation account to take advantage of. It's just unfortunate timing, and you know, I think this is cool. It just needs to be rethought just a little bit. Like, they need to get cooler rewards, they need to figure out a better pricing scheme, and you know, if you could also earn the ability to get a discount, maybe like if you get the platinum in Ghost of Tsushima, you get a 10% discount code for Ghost of Yotei. That would be a really cool franchise reward to get. Like, reward people for playing your games in the ways that they want to be rewarded, which is spending less money overall. I mean, they're your most dedicated players, but if they can rework it, tweak it, and figure out how to get it right at the end of the day, I think this could be a good way for both parties to increase engagement on the PlayStation 5. Like, there's no way you're gonna platinum a game that you don't like just to be able to buy a t-shirt. But if you go through the effort to platinum a game and you have like maybe 2 trophies left, before you put the game down, you might spend a little bit more time in that game to get those trophies and then buy the merch item. And then that helps Sony because you played more time on the PlayStation 5 and you spent more money after getting the platinum in the game. So like, it helps them on the money side and the engagement side, and it helps you build more of an attachment to a Sony franchise, which, you know, didn't used to be hard, but now there's so many games coming out that it's hard to get really invested into one exceptional game. Like, it's a lot harder this generation than it was in the last generation. So yeah, I get why people are upset, but I don't think it's as bad as it's being made out to be. I think it just needs minor tweaks to be a better reward service, especially now that they know people are associating it with PlayStation Stars. That just gives them a mandate to, like, you know, make it better than PlayStation Stars, which shouldn't be hard since PlayStation Stars was a disaster from start to finish. But speaking of games on the horizon that I'm looking forward to, let's talk about Forza Horizon 6. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't see the leaks for months that this game was going to take place in Japan, and as a very dedicated Forza Horizon 5 player, they've been teasing it. There have been car packs that are full of Japanese cars. A lot of the seasons had Japanese inspired tracks that they picked from the community. It was very obvious that they were teasing Forza Horizon 6 being in Japan, so it's more like I'm relieved to see that it actually is set in Japan. It's coming in 2026, which is weird that they announced it now, because usually with Forza Horizon, like all of the other ones in the past, they would announce it in June, have it out by September or October. So hopefully the fact that this is being announced now in September means it's an early 2026 title, but we'll just have to wait and see. I wish they showed gameplay, because a cinematic trailer without any cars in it is kind of scary, right? Like, you know, usually Forza Horizon trailers have a ton of gameplay, and then that's why they're able to release it so soon after. So I think they're just confirming that it's real, and it might be earlier in development than a lot of people, myself included, think, but we'll just have to wait and see. But the most interesting thing to me is they confirmed right out of the gate that this is coming to PS5, but unfortunately we're going to have to wait for it. But still, an Xbox homegrown studios first party game, not like Bethesda with Doom the Dark Ages. I'm pretty sure this is the first example of one of those, you know, an Xbox owned and created IP like Forza Horizon announced to be coming to PS5 with the initial announcement. And I think that's really cool. I'm excited to play this. I hope this is the first Forza Horizon that has cross save set up at launch. I'd love to buy this on PS5 and also buy it on PC, because my racing wheel only works on PC. And it sucks that on the PS5 version of Forza Horizon 5, I basically had to start over, because if you're playing on Xbox and you have it on the Xbox app on PC, it save syncs. So like, the ability to do that is there. Microsoft is just choosing not to, but knowing that this is planned for all 3 platforms at launch, PC, Series X, PS5, I feel like that should be a priority, making sure you can transfer your progress across all of them, because regardless, they're going to make you log into your Microsoft account. They also revealed that the map is going to be huge. Obviously, it's Forza Horizon, but the city that they're featuring is Tokyo. It's going to be the most vertical Forza Horizon game ever. I think that's awesome. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you in today's video. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.